Morning, Jeanette.
Good.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yes, very well, thank you. Lovely and sunny up north it is as well this morning, which is always nice.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I'm very much down south, and I
I
can tell you
know.
it's nice down here as well. Please excuse the seagulls. They seem to be having a lot to say this morning. But if they've got anything valid, I'll get them in.
I was going to say, maybe they want to get in on being a salesperson.
Oh, they're not salespeople down here. They're thieves. They just like wait for you to walk by with nice food and just go on.
Well, some people
yeah.
might say that some, salespeople are thieves, some car salesmen, etc. But anyway, we won't go down that route.
We wouldn't dream of saying such a thing.
We wouldn't be so stereotypical, would we, at all? It's so lovely to be on with you this morning. It's the first time the two of us have done Savvy Says, isn't it? So it's really, really nice. And we've got a lovely topic, which I think was born out of a chat that we had when you zoomed in on our Selling Savvy little meeting away that we had. I think it was the week before last now. And we were all getting quite excited about everyone's a salesperson, and I know that you had lots of examples of stuff. So particularly myself and you had a lot to say, which I know is
not unusual.
It's not. I was going to say it's so unusual for me to have a lot to say. Not. Yeah. So we thought it would make a really good chat on Savvy Says. So we would really love to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see who's on with us so far. Morning, Delphine. Hope you're okay in sunny Hastings. Morning, Judith. Lovely to see you. Morning, Kate. I know Kate wasn't sure she's going to be able to make it this morning, but her meeting's finished, so it's lovely to see you.
That's an early meeting if it's finished by 9:30.
Well, Kate's an early bird, I think, like me. She likes to meet early. Gets it done for the rest of the day, so you could be more proactive. Yeah, such a useful topic, Kate says. Yeah, I know it is. It really, really is. So please, if you've got any thoughts on the matter at all, which I am sure you will have, please bob something in the comments. We love to see your comments. That's what makes Savvy Says so fun, because it's so interactive.
And with the subject of this one today as well, I mean, everybody's got to have an opinion on this. Everyone's got to have a story, for sure. We want to hear it, especially the funny ones.
Yeah, definitely. We want to hear the stories. So I think it kind of started, didn't it, when we were saying that obviously things are quite different at the moment, especially for venues and hotels, because they're having to sort of multi-skill their staff quite a lot, because maybe people are still furloughed. Or maybe I've got less staff now due to the recent circumstances. I won't even say the C word anymore. I'm so over it. So it means sometimes, doesn't it, first of all, that there's people taking inquiries or picking up the phone that maybe wasn't doing before. And then they'll be like, oh, what do I say? What do I do? We thought it might be quite nice to just have a quick chat around that as well, and what they can do. And they might be a bit nervous because they might not think they're a salesperson. But we think everyone's can be a salesperson, don't we, Jeanette?
We do. I mean, we made some notes. When Becky made more notes than me, more organised than me, and you actually started by saying that if you had £1 for every person who said, I'm not a salesperson, you would be a very, very rich woman.
I would, yeah. It's one of the first things people say to me when I say what I do. They're like, oh, I'm no good at sales. And I always counter that and say, well, you'll know how you like to be sold to and how you don't like to be sold to. Mm-hmm. And even though obviously that's not all of it, that is the basic premise of it. I mean, I used to start training with a good selling story or a bad selling story. Tell me a time when you were sold too bad, tell me a time when you were sold too good. And how did it make you feel? And then I used to say, well, that's what you need to do. Ta-da! That's it. In fact, we don't need to do our job, Jeanette. That's it. Selling Savvy's out the window. Just do that. That's it. Bye.
All right, I'll see you later then. We'll be off now. It's. I don't think it is just that. I mean,
I know it's not just that.
Sales is. No, I mean, even for everybody else, I think everyone has so many more sales skills than they ever give themselves credit for.
They do.
I mean, we were just having a quick chat before this started. And I was saying that even when people don't think they're selling, they're selling. So, you go for an interview and everybody goes for an interview and you think, crikey, I hope they like me. But the employer likes you and they're trying to sell. So they're a salesperson. Then they're trying to say, please come and work for us. It's going to be great. And all those kind of things. So throughout everything you do in your life. If you go to chat someone up in a bar, I hate to say it, but you're selling yourself. If you
literally,
well, maybe, it doesn't matter what you do in your life, even your own social media page is essentially your own marketing platform, and very few people don't make their social media look great. So I think naturally we all have the skills. It's just people don't necessarily accept they have the skills.
I think you're probably right, or they don't. Yeah, it needs realizing that they do these things on a day-to-day basis. I think when we made the notes, you even put in here that we do this with our partners and our kids. And I am so a salesperson when it comes to my kids, trying to persuade them to do things and negotiate with them and that kind of thing.
So, well, I look after a 6-year-old, and I'm going to say that persuasion and sales skills are literally all that gets me to get him to do anything, because it certainly isn't going to work any other way. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, I admit there might be a bit of bribery in there somewhere when it comes to the kids, but we are always sort of telling them the benefits of why they should do something, aren't we? So
absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And as for my husband, I try and tell him the benefits, but I think he might need to hone in on his listening sales skills, from his side of things.
Well, no, I find with the husband, it's more of a kind of an alternate close is the one I like to use.
I like it.
Do you want to do this or this? That's basically your choices, this or this. Jeanette,
that's brilliant. I love that. So
Judith, a great day or a really miserable day where I won't at you all day.
I absolutely love that. But he does bring you a good cup of tea most times when we are doing our Zoom calls. So.
That's true, actually. That is very true. I have no complaints.
He's definitely a keeper. Judith is saying, absolutely everyone is a salesperson, but some people don't think they are and get really scared by the word sales. They do. In fact, before we came on, we were saying, Jeanette, weren't we? A few months ago as well, we were saying we should come up with a new fandangled word for sales so that people don't hear the word.
Are scared of it. People are scared of it.
If anyone's got an idea of what we can call sales so that it doesn't sound so scary, then let us know.
Yeah, make sure it's not too rude. I mean, Kate's putting a blog out on Selling Savvy quite in the next couple of weeks. Again, very similarly connected on this subject. And I was reading it through yesterday, and the one thing I got out of that was in her words exactly, which I thought is brilliant. Take time to ensure that nobody fears the word sales, because I've been a general manager in a hotel, so I can give you lots of examples. But the amount of times I have people who chat to customers all day, and then I go, "Oh, well done on that sale." I don't do sales. I'm not a salesperson. But you've just sold that. So it's
good. That's good. Though. It's nice that you used to do that as well, and to motivate people, because people don't realise that, and not all general managers, are nice to point that out to people that they're doing this already in such a good way. It's nice.
I think nowadays, I think the general managers are going to virtually become the salespeople. So I think they're going to have to kind of work with that. I mean, in my experience, I was a general manager because they put a commercial person into a hotel. And obviously, as the C word that we're not mentioning has taken its effect in the last 18 months, my hotel went from having its own events person, having its food and beverage manager, having people to do all of these things, to being 2 people in the hotel at a time. So the person answering that phone, even if it was someone ringing to say, look, if there's ever going to be a time when we can get married, it might have been the chef, could have been the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely anybody was answering that phone. And I know, Becky, you had some really good ideas about how we can make that easier for them and make the customer journey a little bit more successful as well.
I think I was thinking about this before we came on, and there's obvious things like making sure everyone's got like a basic inquiry handling form to hand that they can use, but still not having to be robotic. It can say a couple of really nice open-ended questions that people will be comfortable to ask, such as, tell me about the event you're looking to hold. It can be just as simple as that, as long as they manage to get the contact details for people as well, so that they can then be called back, maybe in more of a consultative, salesy way, or they can feel comfortable to take that inquiry themselves by having that call script in front of them. But I do think it's also, we were saying when we sort of met up to prepare, and if Matthew and Jane is on, we do prepare, because the other day he said, "What, you prepare?" I think he was being sarcastic. I was like, of course. We were saying, weren't we, that there's certain things that we probably need to be like with the customer, such as just being honest. So if you're not normally the person that answers the phone, I don't think at the moment there's anything wrong with saying that. And actually, I was saying how impressed I would be if the chef was answering the phone and he was being honest with me. I think it would make me sort of warm to somewhere, rather than if I had somebody at the end of the phone that wasn't telling me that just sounded a little bit stilted. I don't know about you. How would you feel if the chef or somebody picked up the phone and they were telling you this? I would think, oh, brilliant, this is great.
We were talking only yesterday as a team, weren't we, about how important it is when you're, especially within hospitality, that you're buying into an entire team. So yeah, if I ran with an inquiry and I thought, wow, if the chef is that engaged, then this is good. This is definitely good. So I mean, I'm starting to think actually that instead of looking at it in terms of people being short-staffed, we should bear in mind others might need to take the phone. Maybe we should push that forward and do it all the time.
Now there's an idea.
Let's just turn the world on its head and say, why don't we just do that? But
well, I think it's probably going to be more and more the case, isn't it? Because we're having to work together more and more in teams. And I also think if you set expectations at this stage, as well as being honest, I mean, obviously we don't want to take days and days and days and days to get back to people. But if we do say, this is the situation, it will be then when we'll be able to get back in touch with you, is that okay, kind of thing, then people will realise as well that is the process at the moment. And again, if you're an agent or somebody that's ringing up, at least you know when you're going to get that full response.
Absolutely. And I mean, the other thing that I found as well is, I mean, I used to do some test calls across some of the other hotels, and I remember ringing one day, and I said, "Oh, hello, I'm interested in booking a small meeting, key workers, so it's going to be fine." And they sort of went, "Oh, our events person's on furlough," and I went, "Oh, right, okay." And I was sitting there thinking, "Wow, that's a long time. I'm going to have to wait for us." I said, "Is there anybody else?"
Yeah.
They said, "Well, the general manager's on holiday, but they're back next Thursday." And I went,
"Wow."
And they were like, "But there isn't anybody else here." And the impression I got was, wow, this business is just shut down.
Yeah, it may as well have been, hadn't it? Yeah.
I would have had no faith whatsoever at all in that. But it happened. That's
such a shame to hear, real shame, because
that's more, but I think it's,
Yeah, well, I guess it's a case then of venues instilling a bit of confidence into these people that are picking up the phone and just explain how important they are, and that they don't have to be what they perceive as a salesperson, just somebody that creates a nice relationship with somebody and has a chat with them on the phone. Take that kind of big fear out of it. Judith's saying, absolutely, everyone is a salesperson, but some people don't think they are and get really... Oh, we've said that one. Sorry, Judith. I'm repeating myself now. Delphine says, so important to realise when recruiting, attitude is key. Absolutely. So I agree with what Jeanette said. You are selling yourself as a venue or an agent if you are recruiting, as well as the other way around, definitely. Yeah, Kate said, shortest workshop ever. That was when I was like, right, that's it, bye. She also said, OMG, I negotiate with Fred and Gav every day. Yeah, completely. We should be experts, Kate. Yeah. Judith, do you think business development is more of an acceptable alternative to sales?
Delphine came up with one as well, I think. Client relations.
Yeah, that's what she said, client relations.
I quite like that. Nice.
Client relations, yeah, I like that as well, Delphine. That's good. I've got loads of people saying stuff now. It's a huge topic. My core background is non-hotel venues, e.g. bars and restaurants. Sorry to say if there's anybody on here for bars and restaurants, but they notoriously poor at selling if the executive coordinator isn't there. Yes, or sometimes they don't even answer the phone, which is something that I see quite a lot with restaurants and bars that I work with. I have had a right chin mug with a chef. What's for lunch? Yeah, absolutely. it might finally break down the sales versus ops barriers. Yeah, it goes back to that sales versus ops. Savvy says that myself and Matthew did about spending time in each other's departments and getting to know how it works. And and we were talking yesterday as well, because we're putting together a support package for recruitment days. We were saying how every department has a touch point and a connection within the buying cycle. So gosh, there's so much we could talk about.
I was going to say this could go from being the shortest workshop to probably the longest workshop.
It could.
And it is true what you've said about, you know, I've been in the bar or the restaurant in a hotel, and the phone's ringing off the handle, and they are absolutely not going to answer it. But in fairness, they would turn around and say, as the events coordinator, if you were walking through the bar and there was a queue, would you hop on the bar? And I think that's what we have to break down is that in certainly the groups I worked for have gone from having F&B staff and reception staff to just having team members. So I'm thinking that's the perfect basis to get this. Everybody's a salesperson out there, and make sure everybody knows that, you know, the more they sell, the more people will come in, the more people they have to chat to, the bigger they're going to have bonuses and tips and jobs, to be fair. So
no, exactly. I used to say that when I was a DOS, and when the operations team were going back into ops versus sales here, when the operations team were going, oh, we know we can't do this. Like, well, the more business we bring in, the safer your job and the busier the hotel is, you know. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And we do essentially have to remember, and I did as a general manager tell all of my staff this. Of course, it's about looking after customers. That's what it's all about. But hospitality is the hospitality business, and you've got to remember it's a business. It has to make a profit. That's the point. It's a business. So yeah, you've got to sell. It's what makes the wheels turn.
It is, definitely. So something else that bugs me, just bugs me in life, is people that don't do what they say they're going to do. So I've written that down as well, in terms of if somebody picks up the phone that's not. So explain what you're going to do, and then sort of follow through and make sure that it happens, that it doesn't become a kind of, well, it's not my job, I answer the phone and it doesn't go anywhere kind of thing. So that's something else I think that is just vital, and just instills confidence that, you know, that if you say what you're going to, if you do what you say you're going to do, then you will do on the day, and you'll look after them and that kind of thing. So yeah. So when sorry, go on. No, you first. You've got some ways
to get around that. Is and again, something I've done in the past is to have like almost an email template, which is sort of oh, you've made an inquiry with us. Someone's going to be back to you by next week. But in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about the property. So I just do a little bit like that. So they get something that actually is already saying, let me give you a little bit more information. This is at the moment, like most recently, it was, by the way, here's our COVID safety, blah, blah, blah. And this is what we offer, and this is how you'll feel. So
that's a really good idea, because it, like you say, it'll instill that confidence, even though it's very good.
Ping it out, and then
the customer will feel, the customer will feel like it's in progress, won't they? It's not kind of just nothing happening. I like that idea. That's really good and simple as well. So when we had our meeting where you zoomed into us, you were telling us all sorts of things that you were talking about, some super sleuthing as well that you used to get other departments to do. And so, I absolutely loved this. So
no, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
I really like it, because I did a workshop for Marriott a long time ago now, where it was a similar premise, and we used to say, what can you do in your departments to help bring in kind of like leads or pick up on cues, and this was perfect. So please tell everybody.
So I used to use my housekeeping department for sales leads, and people say, well, how does that work? And they're obviously doing sort of stay over rooms and everything, and I'd be like, well, when you're in the room, if there's a big folder on the side that's got Balfour-Beatty scrawled across the front of it, or there's sort of the shirts that people have that are branded or name badges. I said, if you just see that stuff in those rooms while you're there, could you just come back and tell me, so that I know where someone's staying from? So I got a really nice contract, because we had a couple of people in, and it turned out they were Wincanton drivers. But I only knew that because the shirts were thrown on the side in the room, and then they went, there's about 3 Wincanton shirts thrown on the side. So then I'd be like, well, I know these people are here, because when you're checking them in, everyone thinks receptionists collect the leads, but if there's a queue of people, it's a bit hard for them to get that conversation flowing, and you know, so it needs to be shared around. But yeah, I did do a bit of super sleuthing in rooms, and just say, look, you know, if you see a big training pack on the side, well, what's it say? Don't look into anything, just what you can physically see.
I was going to say, we're not condoning going through people's things, but if it's there, then that's fair enough. Yeah.
If on a training course or doing something with work, 9 times out of 10 there'll be a folder or something, and they just pop it straight on the side, and that's where it stays. And you can kind of see what they're there for, and it's a really good way. It's a really good way of understanding what else is coming through the door.
I've got like a little vision now of like Jeanette's kind of like sort of, I don't know, super sleuthing Pink Panther style kind of team. Yeah. I absolutely love that, because yeah, we do. Obviously, I always used to say to my reception team, you know, please chat to them and find out how, you know, where they usually stay and if there's anybody else and this, that, and the other. But you're right, they're not always got the chance, have they?
No.
So I absolutely love that. And I guess also when, you know, when people are having a drink in the bar as well, you know, when the tongues are a little bit looser, and, you know, the barman and everyone can have a chat with them then as well, and pass that back through. So that, all of that, just chatting to people and finding out about them and finding out anything in common, etc., is all really relevant, and it is sales really. Especially if you're passing it on to your DOS to kind of like follow up, it's great stuff.
Absolutely. Breakfast's a good one, because let's face it, if we all had a meeting, so we've all gone to a hotel and we're going to do some little presentations, I bet every single one of us would go to breakfast with what we're going to do next to us to have a last minute look through it. It'll be there. It'll be there. If they look, it'll be there. So there you go.
Little folder for the day. What's coming
I know.
up?
I sound like a sleuth. It's maybe I should give up sales and go into.
Maybe you should do private detectives. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you know, I'd be a terrible private detective. And likewise, I would never be a very good stalker, because my attention span is too short. I'd be stalking someone or private detective them and walking down the street, and I'd be like, oh, that's a nice pair of shoes. Oh, lovely. Come again. That's it. So.
I love that. That's brilliant. What else have we got on here?
Delphine likes the team member concept where everyone's doing everything. I think that's fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I do as well, Delphine. Obviously, it's been quite difficult. Well, it's been harder in the past, but I think now it's probably a bit easier for everybody. It's situation. Matt Sales, you had some good ideas on this topic this morning. Did you, Matt? Are you being quiet in the background?
I was going to say, let's hear them.
Are you there? Let us know what your ideas were. We love to hear them from everybody else. Also, management has to lead by example. Absolutely, Delphine. And she also loves your style, Delphine.
Yeah. I'll buy you that drink, I promise you.
Yeah, well done. I always used to, and I know this isn't anything new, but as a DOS, depending on what the inquiry was, I always used to try and get as many people involved in the site visit as I could. You know, if it was a really nice inquiry, I would get the GM to call them and thank them for the inquiry, and I'd get them to bob down and say hello, and I'd get the chef to come in and chat about, you know, lunch options. And so it's nothing new in that department, but I do think why not do that, you know, at all stages if we've got the ability to do so, not just at the site visit. And that is leading by example. If you're the general manager and you're the one sort of thanking people for inquiries and you're coming down to meet them, it really is leading by example. And people buy people, Jeanette, which I cannot not say.
They certainly do. And with the best one in the world, we're going to have loads of new people as well in our industry. It's going to be amazing, because as much as people don't realise they're salespeople, so you know, that's fine. But all those people who were hospitality and then obviously in the last year or so have funneled off to Tesco and Amazon have realised, actually, this is quite good. We can do this instead. And those weren't skills they thought they had. So I'm thinking we're now going to get a whole new raft of people through who who will be like a new breed of hospitality. So this is going to be
like that, a new breed.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then that's nice because you won't get the, well, we've always done it like this. So
yeah, fresh. You bring that freshness in, don't you? Those fresh ideas and eyes wide open. That
maybe
like
young people who understand social media in ways I do not. So that's what I need. I mean, you're brilliant at it, but you know,
I'm not young. I'm not young. There's certain things like TikTok which I'm like, that one's going over my head.
So we're not doing a selling savvy TikTok video anytime soon, then.
Well, it was discussed many moons ago, but we, I think we decided. I'm not sure that FEM would allow it anymore. After the video that we did for, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm going off on a tangent here. The video we did for Light It Red for the events. Did you see that? Our Lady in Red rendition? Anyway, we won't go down that route. So, what else do we need to say, do you think? Oh, I know what I always used to say, and this is quite simple, however, just such an easy thing to think about. The power of one. So I always used to say because I did this training when I was at Marriott to all departments. And I remember once bringing up the budget for the Marriott in question, and it looked absolutely massive. It was like, you know, when everyone's like, oh, no, I'm never going to beat that budget. It's far too big. It's this, that, and the other. And I basically said, if we all sold one extra bedroom, one extra drink in the bar, one extra starter, one upgrade on reception, one extra flip chart, and I can't remember what the other one was, a day, which doesn't sound, when you break it down, as much at all, we would smash our budget, because I said it would equal this amount of money and it would smash it. So it was just saying, and I don't want to go off on a tangent into upselling everything, etc., but it's just saying that every department has that touch point and that ability to kind of help meet the budget and help make up the sales for a venue.
I think there's a lot of hotel companies that have that kind of just one more pound concept, and it's brilliant because instead of saying to people, right, you need to take £1,000 today, which sounds quite scary.
It does.
To say, instead, when someone asks for a glass of wine, especially if it's me, and they say large, I'm going to go, well, yes, please. That would be enough. And
they know to say that to any of the selling establishment would be like, of course.
Exactly. See, but if they went medium or large, there's a temptation for you to go, do you know, I'll go medium.
No, absolutely.
But a nice large with a big smiley face. And England are in the final, so large. Yeah. Absolutely, you're going to get there.
No, completely. Excellent. So we're nearly out of time. So has anybody got anything else that they want to share? Has anyone got any good or bad selling stories they want to share? That would be good.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of the stories, I always hear more bad stories if I do this in training. I don't know about you if you ever ask anybody. And it's always things like, oh, they made me feel, like they weren't interested, or they weren't listening, or this, that, and the other. So those are all the things that I always say, well, you know what you don't like. You don't like it when people don't listen to you. You don't like it when people don't show a genuine interest. So this is how you just need to be when you're dealing with customers, either on the phone or face to face. So, and also I always show this apprentice clip as well. So the apprentice always gets me because they're never consultative selling, are they, on the apprentice? I don't know if you ever watch it, Jeanette.
No, they're panic selling.
They're just like in your face, hard selling. And there's this one clip that I show, which is just horrendous. You have to look it up on YouTube. It's a wedding fair, and he literally calls somebody a dum-dum if they don't buy it. So it's how not to be in sales. So we all know how we like to be sold to, definitely.
We do.
Everyone's very quiet this morning, Jeanette. So
this is not. Maybe, do you know why? It's because we just chat so much. That's it. They're thinking they can't get a word in edgeways.
I don't know what you mean.
which, let's face it, I don't know about you, but in any sales course I've ever done, or maybe not more recently, but certainly in the beginning, and they all used to give the two bits, the don't assume, and that salespeople have two ears and one mouth, use them in that order.
Yes.
Tell anybody that, and it works. It works. Listen more than you talk, and the answers will come your way.
It is very true, although I have a very bad habit, which I know about, and I've probably done it a lot on this call, of interrupting. And I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but I'm one of these people that gets so excited. If I have an idea or a thought, I just want to get it out and to tell people. So it's very good advice. Listen more than talk, they say, don't they? Very quickly, Kate says she's too old for TikTok. Delphine says we should do a TikTok. Come on, I knew you'd be like that, Delphine. Jeanette, you want to see that? You must insist to see it. This is the lady in red.
That may be entertaining me later today.
It will absolutely crease you up. Judith, please, can we see it again? It was legendary. That's the best advice, Delphine says. I'm not sure which bit she meant about that. I don't think she means the TikTok. I'm hoping it was one of our little nuggets rather than the TikTok. And then Kate said, amazing video. I love The Apprentice. Yeah. Oh, Delphine's put here. Let's put it up here. It's the best advice. Use your own experience and treat people how you want to be treated. Absolutely. So we're going to sign off now. But before we do, we would really like it if you like coming along to Savvy Says on a Friday and listening to us have a good chinwag and bringing your thoughts to the table. It would be amazing if you would share it with some other people within the industry and let them know about what we do on a Friday morning, or invite people if we invite you to the event on LinkedIn, etc. Because we love doing this and we want to kind of get in front of more and more people if we can. We want a world domination, Kate says, but we'll start off with UK domination. Although we do have somebody in France now, so we are gradually getting into Europe domination. And I think it's going to be myself and Amanda next week. I'm like a bus. You don't see me for months and then I'm here for 2 weeks in a row, talking about Welcome Back to Sales, which we're also doing a workshop on with the HBAA in a couple of weeks. So that is us next Friday. So we hope to see you then. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Any last minute words to say, Jeanette?
No, absolutely. Just get it shared, guys, because the topics are good. And let's face it, who wouldn't want to spend half an hour with us on a Friday morning? Really, it's just, something, you get to the end of the week and to see two people who are excited and chipper and you get some interesting facts as well. It's a winner all round.
No, absolutely. And we do genuinely love to do what we do. Hopefully that comes across. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. And we shall see you next Friday, hopefully. Take care.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.